What kind of monster pours poison into a child's pool and smiles as they scream? That's the question I couldn't shake, the one that burned hotter than the acid eating through my son's skin. It was a Tuesday, the kind of day where the air smells like fresh-cut grass and the birds chirp just a little off-key. My boy Ethan was out back, splashing in our above-ground pool, his paradise. He was 11, still skinny from a winter spent fighting pneumonia, but his cheeks were pink again, his laugh finally free of that awful cough. Those red goggles he loved made him look like a goofy bug, and he wore them like a badge of honor. I was in the kitchen, pouring real lemonade, not the powdered junk his friends always begged for, when I heard it. A scream. High cracked, the kind that hits your veins with adrenaline before your brain catches up. The glass slipped from my hand, shattering on the tile, but I was already out the door. Ethan was thrashing in the pool, clawing at his skin like he could rip it off. His back arched, mouth wide, but no sound came, just a silent, frozen howl. Then a noise broke through, something primal, a wail no child should ever make. I sprinted, my knees slamming into the concrete by the pool's edge. The water looked wrong, not the usual chlorinated blue but steaming, hissing. I reached in, and my hand snapped back. It wasn't hot, it was chemical, like fire ants on every nerve. Ethan was half out, gripping the edge, his muscles failing. His face was splotchy, boils bubbling up before my eyes. "Don't move," I choked out, pointless as it was. I scooped him up, my forearms screaming in pain, and ran inside. Couch. Ice. 911. I don't remember dialing, just yelling. "It's burning him! His skin's coming off!" The operator's voice was a blur over my heart pounding in my ears. The ambulance screeched in, EMTs with blue gloves barking orders, IVs, oxygen, stretcher. They wouldn't let me ride along, said they'd be faster without me. They peeled out, Leah VYing me in a puddle of water, blood, and my boy's burned skin. That's when I saw it, a white jug by the pool, no cap, a skull and crossbones label taped on like a sick joke. No brand, no barcode, just death in a bottle. I grabbed it with a towel. It was half empty, reeking of bleach and something sharper, like acid eating through my nose. This wasn't pool cleaner. It was poison. Someone had dumped it in Ethan's safe place. Then came the knock. 2 men at the gate, black tactical vests labeled HOA, ball caps, radios clipped to their shoulders. One smirked. "Sir, we've had complaints about unauthorized pool installations. You're getting a citation." I stared, my brain catching up. Our HOA had dissolved years ago after the treasurer ran off with the funds. Everyone knew that. These weren't cops. They weren't even HOA. They were imposters. "You poisoned my son," I said, my voice low, shaking. The taller one laughed. "That's a bold claim. Got proof?" "I've got a camera," I lied, watching his smirk falter. The shorter one shifted, muttering something. I caught one word. "Backyard." They'd been here. They'd done this. I held up the jug, slow, like it was a grenade. "You're going to jail." The tall one stepped forward, hands out like I was a kid throwing a tantrum. "Sir, you're upset? Go inside. We'll handle this. This is my house," I snapped. Then, like the universe was piling on, a third guy appeared, filming from the fence. Some neighbor I didn't know, phone up, zooming in on the jug, my burn arms, their fake badges. "This your jurisdiction?" I called out, voice cold. He just nodded, kept recording. The fake cops unraveled. The short one backed toward the gate. "No ID? No warrant?" I pressed. Silence. I tossed the jug at their feet. It clanged, liquid sloshing. "Get the hell off my property!" They left, not running, but not strolling either. I stood there, arms red, rage burning hotter than the acid. That night, the hospital called. Ethan was stable, sedated. Second-degree burns, chemical irritation, throat scorched but open. He'd live, but no swimming, not for months. The doctors asked if he'd swallowed anything. He had just a gulp when he went under. They didn't know what was in the jug. Industrial detergent? Chlorine derivatives? Something engineered to burn deep. That's when I decided I wasn't just going to scream. I was going to destroy them in court. But first I needed names. The neighborhood had eyes. Old folks, retirees, veteran, they don't miss much. By morning, Mrs. Harper, a retired Navy officer with a VY sore sharper than her tongue, was waiting at the mailbox. I saw them, she said, handing me a color photo. 2 men by my pool gate, one holding the jug, skull label glaring. Your cameras on my yard? I asked. No, my hydrangeas. Your yard's in the way. I almost laughed. She'd been HOA president before the scandal, knew these guys were fakes. By noon, I had more. Mr. Callahan's Rinkham caught them saying they'd teach a lesson about our damn pool. Our pool was legal, city approved, 2 years old, hidden from the street. They'd snooped through the alley. Other neighbors chimed in. These guys had harassed an old couple about a faded flag, told a woman on oxygen to ditch her wheelchair ramp. No notices, no letters, just intimidation. By Thursday, I had 4 VY deos, 3 statements, the jug in a Ziploc, and burns documented at urgent care. Then came the game changer, an email from Lisa Nguyen, a single mom 3 streets over. 2 weeks earlier, they'd demanded $200 for her trash bins being out. They claimed to be the restored HOA compliance DVY Shaun. Left a notice with a phone number. I called it. Voicemail. Thank you for calling HOA enforcement. Leave your violation details. It was absurd, like a dictator's cosplay. These weren't just bullies, they'd built a fake empire with business cards and citations. The police didn't care. The desk sergeant took my EVY Denke USB drives, printouts, the jug with all the enthusiasm of a DMV clerk. Not impersonating officers, he said. HOA isn't law enforcement. CIVYL matter. They poisoned a kid's pool. I snapped. Get a lawyer, he said. So I did. Ellen Carter, a CIVYL litigation shark who looked like she baked cookies but cross-examined like a pit bull, took one look at my file and grinned. We're not just suing them. We're burying them. She filed for assault, trespassing, fraud, emotional trauma for me, Ethan, every neighbor they'd bullied. She subpoenaed the fake numbers' phone records, traced a payment processor from their fines, and got names, Mark Sullivan and Greg Holt. Sullivan was a washed-up security contractor with a rap sheet for threatening city officials. Holt had a DUI and a crowdfunding page about SAVYing neighborhoods from decay. Vigilantes with a god complex. Sunday, IVY cited Ethan. He was awake, pale, voice like gravel. They said it was poison. He rasped. Was it bad? It was, I said. But you're tougher. He nodded, one eye bruised from crying. Will they go to jail? Yes, I promised. And worse. Outside, I stared at the sky, gray clouds like smoke. If the court failed, I'd find another way. But I didn't need to. The media came. It started. Smell a local news clip outside our house, the drained pool under a tarp, caution tape flapping. Mrs. Harper's photo of the jug and Ethan's blistered face from the ring cam froze VYUers. Within days it was VY Rel. Fake HOA poisons child's pool. Ellen played the press like a maestro, timing filings for the evening news, flanked by Ethan's doctor and our therapist. She called it chemical assault and abuse of fake authority. By the preliminary hearing, cameras swarmed, mics in my face. Will your son swim again? I didn't answer. I held up Ethan's medical report, grade 2 burns trauma. The courtroom was packed, neighbors, veterans, teens, Mrs. Harper in the front row like a general. Mark and Greg sat in cheap suits, smirking like this was a parking ticket. Ellen didn't yell. She walked to the center and said, The defendants burned an 11-year-old. Silence. She held up the jug, walked it past the jury, and laid out the EVY Denke, footage, witnesses, fake voicemail, transaction logs, citations demanding cash. She read one. Non-standard pool. Do law 350 due in 48 hours. She showed Ethan's back, peeling, raw. He is not a violation. The defense fumbled, claiming the men thought they were community officers. No intent to harm. Ellen shut them down. No one needs intent when you pour industrial solvent into a child's pool. A chemist testified the jug held sodium hypochlorite, degreasers, phosphoric acid commercial grade, not pool safe. Mixed with chlorine, it could have gassed us. Mrs. Harper testified about warning them months earlier. Lisa Gwynn shook as she recalled their threats over her daughter's sidewalk chalk. Callahan's audio, "Let this be a lesson," made the judge flinch. By day 3, the story was national. Letters poured in, cards for Ethan. A Texas woman sent a T-Rex pool thermometer, like the one he'd painted on our deck before the spill erased it. On the stand, I told them about Ethan's scream, my scars. I don't care that they weren't cops. I care that they thought they were. Ethan testified by V.Y. Dale, pale but clear. They said I couldn't swim. It was my pool. I just wanted to play. Do you feel safe now? The prosecutor asked. No, he whispered. The room broke. The jury took 6 hours. Guilty on all counts, due law $1.8 million in damages, injunction against their enforcement, criminal referral. As the gavel fell, Mrs. Harper clapped. One clap. Then Callahan, Lisa, the whole room. The judge let it happen. That was justice. 2 days later, real cops raided Mark and Greg's homes. Fake badges, citations, vests, more jugs, a neighborhood strike list. Greg confessed, a year-long scam, targeting vulnerable homes, due law $12,000 in fines. Ethan's testimony went VY 14 million VYUs. A fundraiser we didn't start paid our bills and built a new pool, bigger, safer, with Ethan's name in the tile. A sign read, "No fake cops allowed." 6 months later, Ethan swam again, scars and all, laughing under an orange sky. Neighbors cheered. Mark and Greg got 5 years, no parole, their houses seized. Ethan spoke at a school forum, hoodie reading. Not a violation. They picked the wrong kid, he said, and the clip exploded. Mrs. Harper's plaque summed it up. Here, a child was poisoned. Here, justice poisoned them back. Every time I read it, I feel peace. We didn't just win. We ended them. And Ethan? He swims like nothing ever touched him.